Hey, it's Mike Watson with Keller Williams here in Palmdale, and I have the monthly statistics for the month of July. July turned out to be a pretty interesting month all around. It was good, but definitely saw some changes from what we've seen over the last year and a half. In July, we had 726 new homes come on the market. As you can see, that's almost a 24% increase versus the previous month, and it was a 14% increase versus the previous year. Right now, our current supply, so the average number of homes that was for sale in July, ended up being around 595 homes, and that's up 18% versus June, and it was down 11% versus last year. But we all know that we started the year, right around 300. And so we are building, it's almost doubled, but it's a good thing to have. A normal market for us is 1,800. So we're still good. We're at about a third of where we should be. And that, like I said, is a much needed change. So the number of homes to go into escrow for July was 566. That was up 12% versus the previous month. And it was down slightly versus the previous year. That's not a big deal. I mean, the monthly increase is good, especially when we're having more homes come on the market for sale. Being down versus last year, not such a big deal, because if you'll remember, July of 20 was the first month after the COVID restrictions had lifted, and we saw a good pickup in the market at that time. Number of homes to sell in July was 467. That was a pretty big decline versus the previous month, 14.5%, and almost 19% less than the previous year. But like I just said, with the pendings, June of 20 is when we first saw the COVID restrictions lift, and it caused for a good pickup in the market. Here's a great stat. Average sales price, $464,000. That is the highest we have ever been, ever, in the entire Antelope Valley history. That is amazing. We've broken that record a few times over the last year. We were up almost 1% last month. 25% increase versus last year. That is amazing. And we are at about, I think it was like 280% more. So we were almost triple the average selling price from where we were at the bottom of the market in 2010. And we're up about 30% over our previous peak in August of 2006. So our prices are high. Interest rates are obviously way lower than they were. We averaged below 3% for July. And in 2006, when we had that previous peak, interest rates were at like 6.5%. So affordability is still there. It is a good time to buy. And I've had this conversation several times offline, but with all of this talk of inflation, inflation is your best friend when you own a home, because your monthly expenses are fixed. But when inflation kicks in, the value goes up, but your expenses are the same. So it's a good time to own a home. And if you were thinking about selling, I have told many, many people that if you sell now, you should also buy immediately to, not get hurt by inflation. Anyway, the average days on market is at 17.5. That's up 8.5% over last month, and it's down 56, almost 57% from last year. 17 days, that number is bloated. I don't need to go into that right now. But realistically, I would say the average is probably closer to 7 days, if we're counting the time where, the home is available to be seen until offers are accepted, and not just the time it comes on live on the market. But if you have any questions on that, we can chat about that offline. And then lastly here, our month's worth of inventory, we are up to 1.18. Almost a 16% increase versus last month. And we're up 18%, we're down 18% from last year. So again, at the beginning, we talked about the 726 new listings coming on the market. We can see that versus last month, that created an increase. But last year, we were still significantly higher than we are now. Again, like our inventory, we need it to build just to maintain some market health here. And so people have places to move to, right? But the market is doing very well. Our one stat that's not included in here is the original list price to selling price ratio. That's at 103.4%. It fell about 0.5% from last month, but we're up 3% from last year. And what I mean by that is, if we listed a home for $100,000, it would sell for $103,400 on average, right? And that's just an example of us having an inventory shortage and, properties having bidding wars on them and values increasing, right? So anyway, the market is doing very well. It is different in that we built inventory this month, but we also had a record price on a month that we were building inventory, and we had significantly fewer homes to sell than the previous month. But also at the same time, we had more homes go into escrow. So, that kind of feels like the opposite. It feels like our supply and demand shifted a little bit, but the average sales price still set a new record. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My number is 661-733-2196, or you can respond to this email. I hope you're having a great day, and I will talk to you soon.